Hey, Ken.
Yes, Bob?
It is day 2 of Axle Build Day. Do you know why it's day 2 of Axle Build Day?
Because it's a different damn day.
And it's a different damn axle. We get to build another axle.
As if one wasn't fun enough.
Well, this is a really fun one.
Right.
Because the boxes are more numerous.
More numerous. We're still waiting on a couple items, though.
Well, that's a good point.
Not that it's going to affect your video, but
just our timeline.
Just our timeline. So we are going to strip the front axle today and start putting a whole bunch of crap on it. And we got a bunch of different brands we're working with today. Should be fun. It's going to take a lot more time than the rear. There's a lot more involved.
Yes.
A lot more involved.
A lot more stuff
I think
to put
if you're going to be running 37's on JL 44 Rubicon axles, and you plan on wheeling hard, a lot of this is pretty much what I consider to be must-have.
Yes.
If you're just going to do general stuff and, you know, you're going to go do the Rubicon, you're going to go do some trails and stuff, but you don't want to hit all the hard lines, do all the crazy shit that I know I'm going to do, then you probably don't have to do some of this stuff.
But that said, too, you know, when I told you I was looking at buying a JL, I told you that this is like one-stop shop. Like, I want to build it once.
And be done.
And be done. So I don't want to like skimp and say, hey, I don't want to do that now to save a little bit of money. I'd rather just build it now and not have to come back.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at with it too. So like, we're already here, we're already into this. You're not nitpicking me on budget. You're kind of allowing me a lot of freedom there. So if we're already here, why redo it all later and spend money on labor again later?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would rather just be done once and go and go spend our time not tinkering, not spend our time upgrading, but spend our time enjoying. And that's really what I want to do.
Get the build done and over with so you don't have to screw off and do it again. Instead, we just go get tacos.
And go see the country.
And go see the country.
While we eat tacos.
So let's show some people what we're doing today.
We can start with these.
These are tube seals.
These are tube seals.
So these are going to go on the outer, or the inner knuckles. And this is a little maybe telltale. You can see what it says right there. I don't know if you can see or not.
Are you giving away an Easter egg?
There's an Easter egg there. If you can figure out what axle shafts come that look slightly orange, it's pretty easy to figure that one out. So we have some RCVs coming for the front of this thing. They should be shipping any day and should be here any day.
How exciting.
So we have RCV front shafts coming for this thing.
And then, you know, if you're going down the path of putting RCVs on and 37's and saying we're going to go enjoy and wheel it,
why wouldn't you call Rusty's Offroad?
And get some protection for these things.
So we called, like usual, you'll catch a theme here, we tend to call Rusty a lot. A lot of times I just text him my order. But we got lower control arm skid plates, because we're already here, we've already got out of the vehicle, why not? And I don't like breaking stuff. It happens. We know it's gonna happen.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. But we like to try to avoid it. And again, we're already here. So we got the upper and lower knuckle C gussets. These are for the inner knuckles. This is for the lower. This will go basically on almost identical to that position. This is the upper, will go on at about that position. So these will gusset the inner C for the knuckles. Are these required? No. What are the odds of bending one? I don't know. People do. I never have, because I run these.
And for as inexpensive as they are, why the hell not?
They're so freaking cheap. They're like, I don't know, less than $200, I think. I don't know. They're really cheap. Yeah, he actually makes a Truss package that comes with all of it.
Yeah.
Let's show him what other package else is in the package. The plastic bag.
Where is it? Oh, there it is.
So this is the other part of his Truss package. And when we put this on the axle, it actually really ties it all together. There have been a lot of people breaking these Dana 44 Rubicon JL axles because of the center axle disconnect. You don't have a solid tube going through, and that does present a weak point. And I know when they first came out, a lot of people said, oh, you've not even beat on them yet. Nobody knows if it's a weak link. I'm not stupid. I was here when they had YJs with disconnects. It's a weak link. Always has been, always will be. So until somebody comes out with a tube, already pre-machined, everything already, so you could just knock out the old tube, press in a new tube, set your C angle, to be done, this is the next best thing. Hint, hint, one of you manufacturers needs to get on that. So this is going to go on the bottom tube.
Not so subtle hint.
Yeah, this is going to go on the bottom tube. Yeah, we need an actual manufacturer like Fusion, Curie. Somebody needs to start retubing these damn 44 JL axles for us. Anyways, this is going to go on the bottom of the tube in the middle of the housing. We'll show you where these all go on the axle. It's so much easier. This is the big part of the truss that ties the passenger side all together.
Now, unlike the rear here, Ken, a little bit more welding.
This is a lot more welding labor intensive. I mean, holy crap, this is gonna take me a lot longer. This is the small part of the truss that ties the driver's side. Rusty goes one step further than what I see a lot of the other companies doing. These actually strengthen up the coil buckets so that over time that coil bucket won't beat itself to death and start to sag. Those are a pain in the butt to put in unless you take all your steering and track bars and everything off, just so you know. This is the other part of the truss for the passenger side. Again, I'll lay that all on the axle and kind of show you before I even weld it or anything, just kind of show you where they all go. It's a lot easier that way.
Now, Ken, you did mention something about the disconnect. What do we got here?
So, as you know, Bob, we are doing the one-piece axle shaft conversion in the front. When we ordered the RCVs, I ordered you the 300M RCVs, one-piece shaft. I don't like
super excited.
I don't like weak links.
I don't like weak links.
So I don't want a two-piece shaft. I don't want to be busting the center axle disconnect system. I'd rather just delete it. Rather be gone with it completely. Yes, okay, cool. Everything's spinning in four-wheel drive. Blah 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 blah. You lose fuel economy. If I wanted fuel economy, I'd have bought a Ford Festiva. I don't want fuel economy. I want it to be strong. Or a Tesla, but I'd rather have a Ford Festiva because Teslas suck. But
not arguing.
I don't care about fuel economy. So Bob's gonna lose a couple miles a gallon maybe by running a solid front axle.
Probably not as much as I'm gonna lose by going to 37's.
And a rooftop tent.
And a rooftop tent.
Yeah, we don't really care about mileage. I just want to eliminate things that are gonna become potential failures. So we got a hold of the guys over at Cab Fab. Cab Fab makes a bunch of high quality product too. I know this is just a very simple plate, but it's just what I needed from them. They do make a lot of stuff though. Cab Fab's been around a while. They make a lot of good product. Got a hold of them, got a center axle disconnect plate. I know you could probably just make your own, but as cheap as they are from Cab Fab, why would you waste your time? What do we got now?
Not that one yet?
So, yep.
Oh boy. Man. Oh man.
So I've got...
Continuing with the axle, you know, or the preparedness theme, Ken, what are some of the things that we've been reading a lot online of potential failures of these?
It's not even a reading, it's what happened to mine.
It's what happened to yours as well, but I was doing a lot of reading and saw a lot of failures, and then I reached out to you and I'm like, holy crap, they're plastic? I think was what my comment was, and then yours went out literally 2 days later. So
yeah, the factory JL ball joints are trash. They are literally garbage, and I mean absolute pieces of crap, dude. At about 20,000, I got 40,000 on mine now. I wanted to run them as absolutely long as possible. At about 20,000 miles, they started making noise. I was like, okay, cool. They're starting to make a little bit of noise. They weren't necessarily chucking up and down or no side-to-side play. So I'm like, all right, they're making a little bit of noise.
Keep an eye on
there's
it.
Technically no play. I want to know how long I can get away with this. So we kept running it and running it and running it. And the noise got to be so horrendous that I actually didn't like giving customers a ride home in my vehicle anymore. I use the shop JL as our courtesy vehicle. Because why wouldn't you?
Because why wouldn't you?
And so like I didn't even want to give people rides in it anymore. They're like, what's wrong with it? It sounds like it's going to fall apart. I'm like, it might.
It might. It might.
So the ball joints, the stock ball joints are just absolute garbage. They're trash. They're absolute just crap. So knowing that, I know your axles are super low mileage, but I'm not going back in and doing ball joints.
Again,
mid
build
next
it
summer
once
and be done
and enjoy it. That's right. You're already in here. I mean, well, I guess we haven't shown the axle yet, but it is literally going to be in pieces. So why the hell wouldn't we put these in?
Yeah,
right
we're already there. I don't want to do them again next summer. I've had 37s on my Jeep since I had like 60 miles. We're not going to bother. These are greasable. They're Spicer. They make a really high quality product. So we're not going to screw around. We're just going to go right off the bat and go right into Spicer ball joints.
From day one.
Yeah, from day one. We're not even just going to screw with it. Grab me the top one there. All right. Oh. So everybody knows we like the Rusty's Offroad diff covers. We buy a lot of Rusty's Offroad products.
It's hard to beat. Top quality, great customer service, phenomenal staples.
Jesus Christ.
Packaging just in general.
Like when I mail my next bill in, I want to put it in a box, staple the shit out of it, and then send him the check.
Put the foam in there and
send him back all of his crap.
It's like Christmas. Look at that.
So here is the front JL44 diff cover. Again, powder coated inside out. All steel plate. Comes with stainless steel bolts. Instructions, I guess. If you need instructions for a diff cover. Yep. This is another Rusty's product. We are deleting the center axle disconnect. What I have found is I like still running a center axle disconnect skid plate because that actually protects that whole area really well. And I beat the living crap out of the one on my Jeep. I was actually originally just gonna run the disconnect plate and delete it. And I'm kind of on the fence on that, but I think I'm gonna leave it. So we're gonna run this. So, center axle disconnect skid plate, 4 bolts. Even if you're not deleting your center axle disconnect, you probably need to buy this thing because that factory one is super thin, it's super tiny, it will not give you any protection whatsoever. You need to put one of these on there. You absolutely need to. I don't even care if you're doing a full axle build. If you're just gonna do a mild little baby build and do like some 33s, go trail riding, spend the 120 bucks or 80 bucks, $100. I don't even know what the hell it costs. I have no clue. Buy it and quit playing games. Now, we're putting these Rubicon axles in a non-Rubicon vehicle.
A stripped down Sport. I think you called it the Chevy Cavalier of
Jeeps. I did.
Is what you called it.
Yeah,
which I'm not arguing. I mean, it's got crank windows.
Cheap Jeep. Cheap. So we have to wire these bad boys up. That being said, we got a hold of Mopar and we got the factory OEM wiring connectors. So the bag doesn't open for shit. What's gonna make this really, really nice is that it literally will just plug right into the differential.
Fun fact, Ken, I don't have any locker switches in my Jeep. What are we gonna do with them?
Yeah, you do.
Well, we did, because we added some.
Right.
So where are we gonna wire these things to?
Those are gonna go right to the MLC6 wireless controller.
Absolutely.
From Rough Country, not wireless controller, my bad.
Oh, the Rough Country MLC6
controller.
Light controller.
Yep, we're just gonna run them right to that. We don't technically need them for this minute of the build, but when I'm all done, I'm just gonna plug them in and zip tie it to it. So when we go to put the axles in,
they're there.
They're there. Next, again,
same as in the rear.
What we did in the rear. We got a hold of Yukon. When we ordered the rear stuff, we ordered the front. So we're gonna do some gears in this thing today too. We are literally gonna slap this whole thing together. There is one more surprise for these axles, but I'm not gonna give you a teaser on yet. You gotta keep watching. Because there is one more thing coming. We talked about it for the rear.
Make sure.
You know what? If they've seen the rear video, they're gonna know now.
Well.
Oh, there is that.
Fun fact.
You're in control.
I get to set the release dates on these videos.
So again, we're going 514.
This leads to a great little segue. If you're not already, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on all of our fun taco adventures.
All the Yukon and the stuff comes with installation instructions. If you need those, you really probably shouldn't be doing this. So here we got master bearing kits, color shims, bearings, races.
I like the
little
paint brushes. I like the paint brushes.
Comes with RTV. I will give you a tidbit of advice.
Don't use it.
A lot of install kits come with thread locker.
Don't use it.
Buy the actual red Loctite brand Loctite. There's a lot of cheap aftermarket crap Loctite that we have seen fail and seen ring gear bolts and stuff come loose. I won't chance it. I won't chance my customer's safety. I won't even bother. So I refuse to use that Loctite. I buy the Loctite brand, red Loctite.
Well, I think that's all the boxes for...
that is all the boxes.
For now.
For now. We're waiting on one long one that's going to have our RCVs, and we're waiting on one more.
Hopefully not too much longer.
That's going to have some other components. So now, we're going to strip down the front axle, and I'm going to show you where all this stuff goes as far as the trusses, so you kind of get an idea of what it looks like actually on there before it's welded. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the camera towards the axle. We kind of got everything just loosely sitting here so we can show where everything kind of goes. So this is your knuckle gussets here. This This is gonna sit here. You're gonna want to trace out and weld all the way around all this. And then on the bottom, this is the bracket that goes down here. My hoist is slightly in the way. Hoist is very much in the way. Come over here, I'll show you. So that's gonna sit right there. And you see your upper knuckle gusset. So that's what you're gonna have there. What it does, it helps stop these from maybe deflecting. I'm not saying you can't bend them and break them, because you can bend and break anything. It just helps. So there's this little bracket right here. Kind of hard to get back out. But a little bracket that goes right in here to help support this coil bucket so the coil bucket doesn't cave in over time with all the spring pressure. Just kind of beefens everything up, ties all the bucket into the tubing, just makes everything nice and stronger. This is the truss piece that goes here, ties your coil bucket to your tubing along with your disconnect housing, and then it continues all the way across. I also got a nice little truss here, so you can rotate this all the way up. We can do whatever you want. What we're gonna do, since we're no longer gonna be running this bracket for the steering stabilizer, I am gonna cut this right off here though. So we're not gonna be running that style steering stabilizer anymore. We're changing the whole entire setup, and you'll have to wait until we install these to figure out what we're gonna run. But we won't be using that no more. We're gonna clean that all off. You could technically probably grind this all down. It's too much work, I don't really care. It doesn't add any benefit whatsoever, so I'm not going to. Moving over a little further, this is the other side of the truss. Again, it's tying your tubing into your housing, tying it into your coil bucket, and then just to help strengthen up the coil bucket, we got this piece that I kind of got wedged in here on accident. This will sit right about there. Again, helps strengthen up the coil bucket, ties into the housing. And then we got the lower control arm skid plates. These are not required by any means, but if you're already here, it helps protect your skid plates, or it helps protect your control arms from getting bashed up. More than anything, it helps stop from just smashing the crap out of these brackets. They will deflect and bend over time. Just kind of strengthens everything up. You're already there, why not? And then normally, if we were gonna weld this all up and we were keeping these ball joints, we would change our whole entire tactic, but we're gonna replace these anyways, so I don't really care if I melt the internals. I'm just gonna weld it as it sits, knock out the old ball joints, put the So in order to keep all the crud out of the axle tubing, we got the RCV outer tube seals. So what we do though is to be able to grease these, you have to notch the housing right here. So we just take a grinder, I take the O-rings off, and I make sure that my grease fitting has proper clearance so that I can be usable. And then just put the O-rings back on, make sure you put a dab of silicone around there, and then just run them in. So now that we know that we got proper clearance, we are good to go. Now that we've got everything buttoned up to this point, we are going to put some nice new shiny shafts in here, and then we're going to hang the brakes. We're going to put the tie rod on just to make it easier when we put in the vehicle. We got a cab fab block off plate for the actuator that we're no longer running. We're deleting that. We got our wiring all ready. So when we put it in, it's just there, it's simple. So I guess let's unbox these axle shafts and start filling the housing with the rest of the guts that it needs. And when we put the tie rod on, we'll just kind of do a ballpark close alignment on that.
Just to get it in.
Just to get it ballpark close. When we get all done, we'll do a full alignment on it. But so let's check out these axle shafts.
As Ken just said, let's unbox these axle shafts.
And
matching set with the rear, if you recall, we went the RCV 300M. I'm expecting these to be just as beautiful as they were in the rear.
All right, let's see your shaft.
Ken, have you seen these before? Have you seen a set of these 300Ms?
Never seen your shaft.
That's true. Let's keep it that way. But that's not what I was asking. Unlike the rears, there's some assembly required.
Yeah.
We got some plungers.
Yep. Clean the toilet with those.
Clean the toilet with those. I hope we got a lot of grease available. What do we got here?
A little bit. Grease.
There you go. There it is.
RCV sends you a tube of grease because you have to pack the bells. Look at these shafts. Oh, and best part?
Oh, stickers!
$1,300 and got some free stickers.
I believe they were more than that.
Okay, I don't know. I don't remember what we paid. Nor do I even care what we paid.
Nor do I care what we paid.
And it comes with
save that box for the other
different wheel bearing bolts and the boot installation tool, which kind of only half-ass works in my opinion.
Did we talk, Ken, about advantages of the single-piece shaft here?
Yeah, so if we had not talked about it when we installed these in my JL, there's a lot of discussion on how strong one-piece versus two-piece is. I'm just telling you, there's no way that a two-piece can be as strong as this one-piece. And on top of that, I don't ever want to have to be out in the middle of nowhere, because a lot of our trips, when me and Bob go out, we're in the middle of freaking nowhere. We're 10 hours out from anything or civilization. Last thing I want to be is in a situation where the actuator fails, it breaks, anything, heaven forbid, happens. We are trying to eliminate weak points. I know anything can be broken. We do know that. But for the type of wheeling we do, the odds of us breaking this, pretty damn slim. If this was a rock bouncer, whole different conversation. We also wouldn't be building freaking 44s for that. So for our application, this is best for us because it eliminates a lot of potential weak points. And people are breaking those components already in these JLs. It's just not something we're going to deal with. I've been running this axle setup in my Jeep since virtually almost when I got it, and they just work flawless. I mean, and I'm not super nice to mine, but I'm not super brutal to it either. So it'll really last the test of time. These are a one-time purchase for him. He'll never probably have to buy shafts again. He might wear bells out eventually and have to buy some components, but the main shaft itself should be fine. So you can wear the bells out. So there might be a point in our life where we have to buy some of those. You know, you have to pay to play, so it is what it is. Oh, look how beautiful that is. So gorgeous.
They actually packed those ones for you.
Yeah.
They packed it kinda.
They packed it kinda.
So, axles put together, RCVs are in, we got all of our gears, truss, everything else all situated. This thing's looking pretty sweet. It'll really live up to the task that he's going to put it through.
So excited.
You're so excited. So,
you know what I'm most excited about?
What's that?
Is now putting them in the Jeep.
I know. So, stay tuned. One of the next videos coming up, probably going to be us putting both axles in the Jeep along with all the new suspension components. So, stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you then.